Chosen one, the place where you hurt the most is not the place God forgot. It is the place He marked first. This message did not reach you by accident. You did not find this video because the algorithm decided to fill your afternoon. Something deeper than an algorithm moved. Something older than technology decided that today, at this exact moment, you needed to hear what no one around you has been saying out loud. There is an area in your life that has been hurting more than all the others. You know which one it is. You have known for a long time. It might be love. It might be money. It might be family. It might be purpose. It might be the rejection that never fully healed, the betrayal that rewired how you trust people, the loneliness that followed you even into rooms full of faces. Whatever that area is, you have been carrying it quietly, surviving it daily, praying about it in private, then pretending you are fine when someone asks. Before this message ends, you will understand why the pain that almost broke you is the exact place where your first blessing is about to arrive. Stay with this. Do not scroll. Do not skip. Because in a few moments, you will know which area of your life is about to rise first. And when you see it, something inside your spirit is going to recognize it before your mind even finishes processing the words. If this already feels like it was meant for you, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the like button. You are not just engaging with a video, you are stepping into a community of chosen ones who refuse to let their pain have the final word. Subscribe, like, and keep walking with us, because the season you are entering requires words that confirm what God is already doing inside you. But before we continue, I need to say something directly to you, because what you are about to hear is going to touch the exact place where you bled in silence. You survived, but surviving is not the same as living, and you know it. You feel it when everything gets quiet. You feel it when you pray for clarity but still carry weight, blockage, fear, and memories that you never fully showed anyone. You feel it in that invisible strength that nobody asks about, because from the outside it looks like you are fine. This material is called the total transformation of the chosen one, and it was created to close the space between the pain you survived and the person God is calling you to become. 5 modules, a 30-day plan, 50 declarations, 2 exclusive bonuses, all in PDF sent directly to your email in less than 5 minutes. This is not more information for you to collect. This is the structure that turns your wound, your rejection, your negativity, and your delay into a spiritual weapon for your mission. Someone who walked through the fire and is still standing does not need empty motivation. They need direction, clarity, and activation. This material is that structure. I made it available below in the first pinned comment for a limited time. Get yours now while it is still available. Now listen closely, because this is where the message begins to touch the place you tried to hide. God saw the prayer you prayed at 2 in the morning when no one else was awake. He heard the words you never finished because the tears came before the sentence did. He was there the night you sat alone and asked if any of it was worth it. The sacrifice, the silence, the waiting, the giving to people who left as soon as they had what they needed from you. He saw the tear you wiped quickly before anyone noticed. He saw the night you almost made a decision you cannot take back, and something you still cannot fully explain, pulled you back from the edge of that moment. He saw the weight of continuing to be strong in seasons where nobody once asked if you were okay. He saw the smile you put on not because you were healed, but because you were too tired to explain the wound. God saw all of it, every layer, every night, every unanswered prayer that you kept praying anyway, because stopping felt like giving up on the only thing you had left. And now I need you to understand something that will change the way you see the next chapter of your life. The wound became the address. Heaven knows exactly where to deliver the first blessing. You helped people who disappeared. You gave your best effort to relationships that drained you without refilling you. You loved someone who did not know how to hold a heart like yours without damaging it. You lost money trying to do the right thing, to build something real, to take care of people who were supposed to take care of you back. You watched doors close without warning and without explanation. You watched people around you advance while your life seemed frozen in a version of itself that no longer fit who you were becoming. You prayed for clarity and received silence. You asked for direction and got confusion. You asked God why you felt a calling you could not explain to anyone, without sounding like you lost your mind. You felt a presence, a heaviness, following you like it wanted to delay every good thing before it reached your hands. And you kept going anyway. That is not weakness. That is not desperation. That is not coincidence. You did not become weak because you cried. You became dangerous to darkness because you survived what was meant to silence you. The chosen one does not survive pain by accident. The chosen one survives pain because the calling inside them is stronger than the suffering around them. And even when they did not know that, even when they felt nothing but the weight of a season that refused to end, the promise inside them kept breathing. So hear this clearly. Your pain was not wasted, not a single night, not a single tear, not a single prayer that seemed to go nowhere. Every moment of it was building something that has no name yet, something that is about to break the surface of your life in the exact place where you least expected, light to enter. Now I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly, not in your head, but in the comment section below. If you know this message is speaking to the place where you were hurt, type, "God saw my pain." This is not just a comment. This is your spirit agreeing that your pain will not have the final word. Every word you type in agreement is a declaration that your wound is not your identity and that what was used to break you is about to be used to build you. I know some of you have been asking why it took so long. You have been faithful. You have been obedient. You have been doing the inner work, praying, waiting, believing. And still the breakthrough seemed to stay just out of reach. Still the provision did not come. Still the clarity did not arrive. Still the right person, the right opportunity, the right confirmation stayed just beyond where your hands could reach. And in those moments, the enemy whispered that the delay was proof of abandonment, that God had moved on, that the blessing was for someone else, that you were somehow not enough, not ready, not qualified for the life you kept seeing in your spirit. But that was a lie. And I need you to replace that lie with this truth. God was not late. He was separating the blessing from the hands that would have poisoned it. The delay was not punishment. The delay was protection. God was removing the people who were benefiting from your pain, the ones who fed off your uncertainty, who needed you small so they could feel large. He was removing the environments that drained your light without ever acknowledging your gift. He was dismantling the fears that betrayal planted inside you, the automatic reactions that made you shrink before a threat even arrived. He was pulling you out of the need to prove your value to people who had already decided not to see it. He was breaking the cycles, the rejection cycles, the scarcity cycles, the confusion cycles that had repeated themselves across years and relationships and seasons because the root had never been addressed. He did not delay the blessing because he forgot you. He delayed the delivery because he was removing every hand that would have intercepted what was marked with your name. Now I want you to see something. Close your eyes for a moment if you can, or just let this land in your spirit as you listen. There is a room inside your heart, a room you locked a long time ago. Not because you forgot it was there, but because opening it was too much. Inside that room are things you never fully dealt with. Old tears that crystallized into walls, words you swallowed because saying them out loud felt too vulnerable, names of people who hurt you, people you still pray for sometimes, even though you are not sure why, even though they never apologized. Inside that room are rejections that redefined how you enter new spaces, bills and burdens that woke you up at 3 in the morning more times than you can count, fears that attached themselves to dreams and made the dreams feel dangerous, buried hopes, versions of your future that you stopped letting yourself imagine because every time you imagined them, something came to destroy them. And prayers. So many prayers. Folded and placed inside that room like letters you were not sure anyone ever read. That room has been closed for a long time, but right now, in this moment, a light is beginning to come through the bottom of the door. Not breaking through. Not forced. The door is not being torn from its hinges. It is not opening because you finally did something right, or because you performed enough, or because you earned access through suffering. It is opening because the time has come. Because heaven looked at the calendar of your life and said, "Not one more day." That door is not opening because you begged. It is opening because heaven has decided that your pain can no longer hold your promise hostage. And what is waiting on the other side of that door is not just comfort. It is not just relief. It is the first blessing, the one that was always going to come to the exact place where you bled the longest. Before the blessing appears outside of you, it is going to arrive inside. You may already be feeling it. A strange stillness, a peace that does not match your circumstances, a sudden quietness in the part of your heart that used to scream in panic, a shift, something subtle but unmistakable, a moment where you realize you have stopped chasing the people who left, a courage that was not there last week, a sense deep and wordless that something has changed, that the season you were in just ended, and the next one is not the same. The first sign will not be outside of you. The first sign will be the moment your spirit stops begging for what God is replacing. When you notice that you no longer feel the same desperation for the thing that used to consume you, that is not indifference. That is healing. That is the chosen one stepping into a new frequency. That is your soul releasing what it no longer needs to carry, because what is coming does not require you to arrive wounded. It requires you to arrive ready. If your spirit is ready to rise from the place that hurt you, type right now in the comments, "My spirit is rising." Every time you declare it, you remind your soul that pain was not your final identity. You remind yourself that what happened to you was not the definition of who you are. You remind the darkness that it did not win. You are still here. You are still believing. You are still moving forward. And that is not ordinary. That is the chosen one refusing to be reduced. Now I want to speak directly to the area that hurt you most, because the first blessing is not going to arrive randomly across your life. It is going to arrive with precision. It is going to find the wound. And when it does, you will know, not because someone told you, but because your spirit will recognize it. If the place that hurt you most was love, if the deepest wound in your life came from a heart that was not protected the way it deserved, then hear this. God is not going to send you back into the arms of what broke you and call it restoration. He is going to do something deeper than that. He is going to heal the part of you that believed you had to shrink to be loved. The part of you that gave endlessly and accepted scraps in return because you thought that was what love looked like for someone like you. The part of you that stayed too long, forgave too fast, and made yourself small so the other person would not leave. And they left anyway. The first blessing in the area of love may not arrive as a person. It may arrive as a moment of peace about someone you finally release. It may arrive as a morning where you wake up and do not feel the ache that used to greet you before your eyes were fully open. It may arrive as a clarity that tells you exactly what you will never accept again, not from bitterness, but from the quiet authority of someone who finally knows their worth. If love wounded you, love will not be allowed to define you by rejection anymore. The chosen one who was broken in love is not going to spend the rest of their life paying for someone else's inability to love correctly. That debt has been cancelled. That sentence has been lifted. What is coming into your heart is not just someone new. What is coming is the version of you that loves from wholeness instead of from hunger. If the place that hurt you most was money, if the deepest pressure in your life has come from scarcity, from lack, from watching your efforts not produce what they should have, from the exhaustion of stretching what was never enough, then hear this. God sees every sacrifice you made that went unrecognized, every investment of time, energy, and faith that did not return what it was supposed to. Every month you held your breath and believed it would get better, and it did not get better, and you held your breath again. The survival mode you have been living in was not your permanent address. It was a corridor, a temporary passage between what was and what is about to be. And the first blessing in the area of provision is not going to look like everything arriving at once. It is going to look like one door, one opportunity, one contact, one idea that solves one problem, one approval, one unexpected resource, one sale, one yes after a long season of no. It will be small enough to seem like a coincidence, but your spirit will know it is not a coincidence. Your spirit will recognize it as the beginning, the first of many, the sign that the season of survival is ending and the season of building is beginning. If money became the place of pressure, provision will become the place of proof. God is going to prove himself in the exact area where you questioned whether he saw your struggle. And when he does, it will not just be financial relief. It will be spiritual confirmation that your faithfulness in the drought was not invisible. Heaven recorded every day you kept going without enough, and heaven is preparing an answer that matches the depth of the sacrifice. If the place that hurt you most was family, if the deepest wound in your life came from the people who were supposed to be your safe place and were not, from the silence of a parent who never said the right words, from the betrayal of someone who had your blood and still chose to damage you, from the loneliness of being surrounded by people who never truly saw you, then hear this. God is going to restore your dignity, not always by fixing every relationship, not always by sending every broken person back to your door with an apology. Sometimes restoration does not look like reconciliation. Sometimes it looks like peace. It looks like the moment you stop waiting for someone to validate the pain they caused you, and you allow God to validate it instead. It looks like emotional safety. It looks like the right to have limits that protect your spirit, without guilt following you for enforcing them. God can restore you without sending you back to the people who broke you. The chosen one who was wounded by family is not going to spend the rest of their life carrying guilt for choosing peace over chaos, or love over abuse, or growth over cycles that were destroying them quietly. What is coming is an interior authority, a settled knowing that your family of origin does not determine your family of destiny, that what was broken in the beginning of your story does not dictate the ending. If the place that hurt you most was purpose, if the deepest confusion in your life came from feeling called to something you could not name, from doors that kept closing without explanation, from environments that rejected your presence without ever giving you a reason, from the isolating feeling that you were built for something you could not yet see clearly, then hear this. The confusion is breaking. The clarity is coming. And when it arrives, you will understand things that have been mysteries for years. You will understand why certain rooms rejected you, because you carried an anointing those rooms were not ready to hold. You will understand why certain people disappeared, because your next level required traveling lighter than your past allowed. You will understand why the delay stretched so long, because the mission God has for you required a depth of character that cannot be manufactured quickly. It can only be forged through seasons exactly like the one you survived. You were not lost. You were being separated from rooms too small for your calling. The chosen one who was confused about purpose is about to receive clarity that does not come from outside counsel or motivational content. It is going to come from inside, a deep knowing, a settled direction, a sense of alignment between who you are, what you have been through, and where you are going. And for the first time in a long time, those three things are going to feel like they belong together. If this word is reaching the exact area where you have been asking God for a sign, press the like button right now. Not as a routine action, not as a gesture toward an algorithm, as a mark of agreement. Let this be the moment you say, I believe my wound will not stay empty. I believe God is answering the place that hurt me most. When you like this message, you help it reach another chosen one who is still sitting in silence, wondering if God saw their tears too. You could be the reason someone else decides not to give up today. Press it now. Now I need to say something that might be the most important thing in this entire message, something that your pain may have made you forget, but that your spirit already knows. The greatest wound in your life was not a punishment. It was not proof that God abandoned you. It was not evidence that you were less than, or cursed, or forgotten, or passed over by the blessings that seemed to find everyone else so easily. What you went through did not create your calling, but it revealed the strength that your calling would require. Think about that. Really let that land. The pain did not build you from nothing. It exposed what was already inside you. The resilience, the discernment, the compassion, the capacity to hold on when everything logical said to let go. The suffering did not give you your assignment, but it showed you, and showed the kingdom, that you had what it takes to carry it. The rejection taught you to move by divine direction instead of human approval. The betrayal taught you to read what people show you instead of only what they say. The delay taught you a maturity that shortcuts never produce. The loss taught you a dependence on God that comfort never would have built. The isolation taught you to hear a voice that crowds drown out. The silence taught you to trust what you feel in your spirit when nothing around you confirms it. Every wound was a teacher, not a kind one, not a gentle one, but a thorough one. And now you carry a discernment that cannot be bought, a compassion that cannot be faked, and a faith that has been tested in the fire and is still standing. Type this in the comments right now. The blessing is coming to my wound first. Say it until the part of you that has learned to expect disappointment begins, slowly, stubbornly, but truly, to expect restoration instead. Because expectation matters. What you anticipate in your spirit creates an opening for what heaven is trying to deliver. Declare it. Type it. Let your fingers make the agreement that your heart is beginning to believe. The first blessing is already moving toward you. And I want you to know how to recognize it when it arrives, because it may not arrive with a fanfare. It may not arrive in a way that everyone around you immediately sees and celebrates. It may arrive as an unexpected message from someone who has been on your heart. It may arrive as a financial door that opens without you having pushed it. It may arrive as a conversation that brings a peace you have not felt in years. It may arrive as a person whose presence does not drain you, for the first time in longer than you can remember. It may arrive as an idea so clear that it does not feel like your own thinking. It may arrive as a physical sensation of weight leaving your shoulders. It may arrive as a morning where the anxiety is simply gone. It may arrive as a confirmation, a sign repeated so specifically that even your most doubtful self cannot dismiss it. You will know it is the first blessing because it will touch the exact place that used to ache. The area that caused the most tears will be the area that receives the first light. And when you feel that light, even if it is small, even if it is just a flicker, do not minimize it. Do not explain it away. Do not wait for it to be bigger before you acknowledge it. Receive it. Thank God for it, because the first blessing is always the sign of more. It is heaven's way of saying, I found the address. I am here, I am starting here, and I am not finished. So right now, in this moment, I want to speak a word over your life. Every hidden weight attached to your heart is losing its authority. Every voice that told you that you were forgotten is being silenced. Every word spoken over you that said you were too much, not enough, too late, too damaged, too far behind. That word is broken. Every delay that trained you to expect disappointment is being dismantled. Every negative force that has been circling your blessings, intercepting your breakthroughs, poisoning your connections, and feeding on your confusion, its access is being revoked right now. You are not returning to the version of you that begged for crumbs from tables that were never meant to feed you. You are rising into the version of you that knows God saw everything. Every prayer, every night, every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of faithfulness that nobody clapped for. God saw it, and He is answering it, in the exact place where the wound was deepest, where the silence was loudest, where the pain lasted the longest. The first blessing will not arrive randomly. It will arrive with precision. It will touch the wound, answer the prayer, silence the shame, and prove that God never abandoned the place where you broke. It will arrive as proof that chosen ones are not people who never suffer. They are people whose suffering becomes the very evidence that they were never ordinary, because ordinary people do not carry what you have carried and still be standing, still believing, still here. If this channel has become a place where your spirit finds confirmation, subscribe right now. Turn on the notifications, because you are entering a season where clarity matters more than comfort, and where the words you allow into your spirit will shape the decisions that shape your destiny. This community of chosen ones is rising, and you belong here, not as someone who is still surviving, but as someone who is finally stepping into what the pain was always preparing you for. Subscribe, stay connected, keep walking. Now, before you leave, there is a video appearing on your screen right now. Watch it next. It was placed there for you, and I believe it will continue exactly where this message left off. Do not stop here. Your breakthrough is not a single message. It is a movement inside your spirit that builds with every word of truth you receive. Watch that video. Let God keep speaking. And in the comments below, leave your final declaration. Type, Amen. God saw me. Let every chosen one reading these comments know they are not alone. Let your declaration be the confirmation that someone else needed to keep going today. Type it, receive it, and walk forward, because the wound that almost defined you is about to become the address where heaven delivers everything it always had for you. The first blessing is already on its way, and it knows exactly where to find you.